Yesterday, we went over the 4 different ways you can name your food business. And to review real quickly, they were using a real word that has nothing to do with food, using a real word that has something to do with food, making up a word that sounds like it implies food, or making up a word that has nothing to do with food. Today, we're going to talk about how to connect marketing to the name of your business. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
All right, so we went over those 4 naming conventions, and now we're going to talk about connecting the marketing department to the name of your business. Now, the marketing department for you most likely is you switching hats in the middle of the day, going from operations guy or operations girl to marketing guy or marketing girl. So marketing is what gets people to make that connection between the name of your business, no matter what it is, and the food that you sell, and then the service that you give. So what we're going to talk about a little bit today is going through the naming process. Let's just make up a business. Now, I told you guys before that my original food business was just a hot dog trailer. Had no name. I went many years without even having an official name. A lot of people just referred to me as the hot dog guy or the hamburger guy, depending upon what I was selling on that particular day. So let's just say that I've decided to partner with a guy named Rick, and we're going to have a food business. So one of the naming conventions I talked about was taking the first 2 letters of the owner's name and cramming it together and calling that a business. So if we were to take Bill and Rick's Foods and turn it into, say, the initials of Bill and Rick's Foods, that creates the word BARF, B-A-R-F. Not exactly a good food term. Could work, though. Let's say that we decide we're going to sell waffles. So if we call ourselves Barf Waffles and then we give our business a fun, tongue-in-cheek, witty staff and witty marketing program, it might work. It's going to be a challenge, but it might work. But let's think of some ways that we could make Bill and Rick's Foods a little bit better name. Let's give them a better name. Okay, so remember the naming conventions were a word that has relevance to the food business. So we could call ourselves Wandering Waffles. That's iteration, because I talked about that yesterday. Food truck owners love iteration. And it's also descriptive. Wandering implies it's mobile and it's waffles. Got everything covered. We could call ourselves Waffle Delights, or we can even go for that little bit of copycatism and call ourselves Waffles R Us. We could look at words that are irrelevant to the food business, but they're real words. We could put good morning with an exclamation point after it. We could just call ourselves Bill and Rick's. We could say single bound, which has nothing to do with food, but gets people questioning, creates a puzzle for the brain. And then, of course, we can go into the non-word relevant. So non-word relevant means it's a made-up word, but it sounds like it implies food. So we could call ourselves Waffleicious, which would be cramming together waffle with the word delicious. We could go with a simple what a waffle, or we could go waffabilities for waffles and possibilities. All of those are made-up words, but they sound like, and then they imply, waffles. And then, of course, we could go into the non-word irrelevant. We could go berry, which would be B-I and R-I, the first 2 letters of the owner's names. We could go with a French or Spanish version of waffles. Most English speakers would not know what that means, but it would be a non-English word, and it would appear to be irrelevant to waffles. Or we could take the word waffle and turn it around, spell it backwards, which would be E-L-F-F-A-W, Elfa. Now we got a puzzle there. If people are curious about the puzzle, then they're going to want to make that connection. What's this puzzle mean? What do they sell? Now, what I want to point out here is none of these have a tagline. And I don't want you to confuse a name with a tagline. A lot of people do that. They will have a 1 or 2 word name and then have a big long tagline underneath it on their logo, and that appears to be their entire name of their business. A tagline is something that is dropped from time to time. A tagline just reinforces what your business is about. So for example, Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers. The tagline was old-fashioned hamburgers. In the late 60s, when Wendy's started, everything they printed had Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers. Because clearly when people saw the word Wendy's, so what is that? Is it a clothing store? Is it a food store? What the heck is it? So they would just have to read a little bit farther to see that underneath the word Wendy's was written old-fashioned hamburgers. Now in our times, some 60 years later after they started, Wendy's can go by Wendy's. Just like Prince was Prince and Madonna was Madonna, Wendy's is Wendy's. People hear that, they know exactly what it is. Taglines don't necessarily have to be a part of your name, but they help people to understand what the name is about and how it relates to what you sell. So a tagline for some of my made-up names just a second ago, or some of my potential food names. I mentioned good morning with an exclamation point. The tagline would be, our waffles make everything good. So now people would associate good morning as not only being a salutation, but it means waffles, delicious waffles. Now, another thing that people do with their naming convention is they will follow advice of somebody that has no clue what they're doing, and they'll say to add the words and catering to your business name. So Bill's Waffles and Catering makes no sense. The fact that you sell food means you can be a caterer. You don't want people to associate your business name as being, number one, long, by having the words and catering stuck at the end of it, but you also don't want them to think of you as just a caterer, because that in and of itself is a negative connotation. How many weddings have you attended, or how many seminars have you gone to, or how many business meetings have you gone to where the food was brought in by a caterer and the food was lukewarm and mediocre? So do you want your business, your pride and joy, to end with the words and catering, hamburgers and catering? No. Just make it what it is. Now, you can put on your business card and on the side of your truck, we cater, which is way different than and catering. So keep your name concise, easy to remember, and then associate it with a tagline that makes sense to help explain what your food's about and what your business is about. Now, tomorrow, what I'm going to go over are the 5 key points when it comes to what your marketing has to do and what it has to do in respect to your business name. And this not only goes to the business name, but when you go to name products on your menu. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow, because you know I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.